Okay, so this is a very, very rough approximation because here's the truth. A lot of women say to me, Sophie, I want a meal plan. I want recipes. And while I do provide recipes and have worked, I have a recipe developer and an incredible nutritionist who helps my private clients, and we do really work on providing the exact plans and recipes that women need. I just wanted to show you, generally speaking, what I will eat in a week, and that honestly, most of the time, I just don't use a recipe because following complicated recipes is not really my jam for the most part. Occasionally, I love to learn a new recipe. I'll get a new cookery book. I'll be inspired by something I see on YouTube or Instagram, and I'll be like, oh, I'm excited to do that. But I almost always end up customizing it for my particular needs. And when clients find recipes, I will customize it for their specific needs because everybody has different needs. And that's why I'm not a huge fan of generic meal plans. And recipe books I love, but very often they need to be customized to suit you or the person I'm working with. So let's just quickly go through this. So I tend to think ahead and I go, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what am I doing? And I do plan, because if I don't plan, then I'm gonna, come unstuck. I'll literally get to the end of the day and think, what on earth am I going to cook for dinner? And that's not a good place to be when you're tired at the end of the day. So I have a rough plan, but I'm not too rigid about it, because if I get too rigid about the plan, that's when I get into problems, because I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I don't feel like eating that tonight, or something changes, my husband's in, he's out, I've got friends coming over, whatever. But I like a basic plan. And what I have here on the table in front of me is basically my weekly staples, because what I like to do is think about, I want to be able to have everything that I need, that in a pinch, I can throw basic meals together that do not require a recipe. So that's basically how I roll. So I keep a lot of stuff in my freezer, because we're so lucky to have freezers, because then I can just pull things out really, really easily. So I make sure I've got basics in my pantry, basics in my freezer, and I'm good to go with wholesome, whole food, minimally processed, plant-based ingredients, which is, if you follow me, you'll know that is, for the most part, my recommendation. It is the first pillar of lifestyle medicine, a whole food, plant-based dietary pattern. And so within that, there is a little bit of thought and planning that needs to happen to make sure that we get all the nutrients we need. And in the context of a whole food plant-based diet, that you're getting the protein that you need. We don't need excessive amounts of protein. We don't need to go bananas. That's very much what we're led to believe on the trending now. You have to have a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day. And that's not entirely true. It's very much personalized for the individual person. But that being said, we do need to make sure that we're getting enough every single day. So this is how I sort of think about the week ahead. So I might think, okay, pasta, stir fry, fully loaded sweet potatoes, curry, and chili, right? So that's like, okay, cool. I can totally get that on a basic week. Now, I'm not gonna have that every week because it's very seasonal. I eat with the seasons. And very often I plan my meals around the fruits and vegetables that are in season. So an example would be, in the spring, early summer, asparagus. I love asparagus, so I'm going to plan my meals. It's like that's where my stir fry is going to come in, around asparagus. And in the more wintry months, it might be a lot more cabbage dishes and things like that. So that's when I might go, okay, I'm gonna do more comforty foods with sort of mashed potato and cabbage and white beans and things like that. So I would never say to you, this is what I eat every week. Neither would I on my what I eat in a day videos. Is going to change from day to day. So this just gives you a very basic idea. So, what I've got on the table here is a mixture of different stores, and there's quite a few Trader Joe's things here. I was actually just doing a haul walkthrough for some of my clients, so I was at Trader Joe's. So Monday could be a pasta. I like the high protein pastas such as the edamame pastas, black bean pastas, chickpea pastas, because they are very high in protein. Like in this particular one here, there is 42 grams of protein per serving. So it's just so easy. I don't always do high protein pastas. I also like whole wheat pastas as well. But I'm a huge fan of pastas. It's very easy to get a meal on the table. It's very easy to add a ton of protein to your pasta. In a pinch, I will use, sometimes I make my marinara sauces from scratch if I've got a little bit more time. If not, I'll get a really good quality marinara sauce from the store. And that's easy, isn't it? It's easy dinner. I'll use nutritional yeast. It adds a little bit more protein and umami instead in place of Parmesan cheese. If I want to up the protein on a whole wheat pasta, I might add some red lentils to the sauce simmer. You'll have to add some more water or liquid, obviously, and suddenly I've got a really high protein sauce. Then I might go on another day, I'm going to do a rice stir fry. Again, this is so easy in a pinch, because you see what you're going to do is I'll grab pouches of pre-cooked rice or quinoa. This is a blend from Trader Joe's, organic rice when I can get it. And then I can just really quickly, easily get that in the microwave. Obviously, when I can, it's better to cook from scratch. But what I'm trying to show you, and I try to show my clients, is don't get caught up on I have to cook everything from scratch. Don't let best be the enemy of better. I'm going to say that again. Don't let best be the enemy of better. Because in everything I'm showing you, yes, it is best if you can get organic brown rice, heirloom rice, and cook it from scratch. Obviously, it's better. But a lot of my clients are very, very busy and they don't have time. And then that's just going to make them go, oh, this is just too much work for me. So get the pre-cooked quinoa or brown rice from Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, wherever it is. You can find organic, often. And just cook that. Pop that in the microwave. Again, is it better maybe not to use a microwave? In some cases, yes. But again, don't let best be the enemy of better. So 3 minutes in the microwave, throw it into a pan. Then you can buy these mixes. This is a organic foursome vegetable medley from Trader Joe's. That could go into the stir fry. It's 4 different veggies in there. I could throw in some tofu. I could throw in some lentils. I'm always cubing tofu. I get high protein tofu, calcium set tofu, often known as extra firm, high protein. Cube it. I marinate it, I throw it in the oven, or I have it all ready for the week, and I'll put that in a multitude of different dishes. You can even buy pre-baked and marinated tofu as well from Whole Foods, from Trader Joe's. That's very useful in a pinch if you haven't got time to do all the marinating and baking. This really is my point here. This has to be convenient, because otherwise it's going to get too difficult and we're going to go, I just can't do that. So I'd rather that you do these shortcuts here so that you don't end up going, I'm just going to order in, which is food going to be filled with all the salt and the sodium and the oil and all the things that you don't want, or I'm just going to go to the drive-through. Let's just try and make this easy. So that could be a stir fry. Then another night I very often do a fully loaded sweet potato dinner. And I'll use what's in season. Sometimes I'll go Tex-Mex kind of vibe with it. So that will be, I'll add salsa to it. I'll add corn if it's in season, black beans. I might add a tiny bit of cashew cream. I'll do a salsa. So that could be a delicious dinner, so healthy. And then I'll add some tempeh or some tofu or something to that again to add some, but the black beans is going to give me, a nice load of protein in there too. Then another night I might do, what am I saying here? A curry. I love curries, or a minestrone soup. Again, in a pinch, I might buy a pre-chopped mirepoix, which is carrot, celery, and onion. Okay. I don't buy pre-cut fruits, and I try not to buy pre-cut veggies because they are more expensive. But fruits I don't, because often they're dipped in a chemical solution. No, thank you. But in a pinch, if I know I've got a week coming up, I will just grab this mirepoix, because then that's the basis for a curry or a simple minestrone soup, where I'm going to throw in a can of organic cubed tomatoes. I'm going to a can of white beans. If I've got fresh green beans, some whole wheat elbow pasta. Easy, right? Or a curry. I love curries. I always have a really good curry powder to hand because it's so easy to make a really delicious fragrant curry. And then you can add chickpeas, you can add cauliflower, you can add vegetables, that are in season. And with all of these, the thing that I use almost more than anything that is an absolute must for me is I buy grow or buy fresh herbs. In the summer, I always have basil plants outside because I love that. But when it's not in season, I almost always have lots of fresh parsley, lots of fresh cilantro because I love it, fresh dill, fresh whatever, because it's an extra phytonutrient that's going to perk up every single meal and add so many phytonutrients. And then finally, I've got just on the table here, because I was just literally planning my week ahead, is I've got the ingredients for chili. So I do a lot of crock pot chilies all year round, actually. So I have my crock pot, slow cooker, and I'll just dump in. It's almost like a dump and not even cook it. I'll throw in my onions, and then I'll put in my quinoa. I love putting quinoa in it. I'll put tons of pinto beans. I'll put cans of tomatoes, of cubed or fire roasted tomatoes, lots and lots of seasoning, lots of cumin and garlic, and I have loads and loads of seasonings, big on spices. So I use lots and lots of spices in everything that I do. So hopefully that's helpful. One other thing I wanted to show you is sometimes I will buy in a pinch these salad kits here. There's two ones that I actually got from Trader Joe's. There's a broccoli slaw and it's a chopped salad kit. But what I do is I'm a little bit careful, because some of the salad kits, you've got to be careful. There are some brands, I'm not going to just mention the brand, I'm not going to throw them under the bus, where there are a lot of recalls. And so I'm a little wary of these salad kits. So if I get a salad kit, what I get is the kits that are mainly cabbage and kale. That tends to be a much safer option than the ones with lettuce in them. And when I get a kit, what I do, because this is very helpful for lunches in a pinch, is and again, if I can buy organic whole heads of lettuce, which I often do from the farmer's market, and take the time to wash them and dry them, I do that most of the time. That is better. But again, in a pinch, we can just grab these, you can throw them in a bowl, and I take the little salad kit insert out that has the goopy dressings and the croutons and tortilla chips and things like that, and I just discard it, because that isn't healthy for the most part, particularly the dressings aren't, and I do my own oil-free dressings. So that's it. I also picked up these lentils, which are pre-cooked from Trader Joe's, really easy, ready to eat warm or cold. That will add protein to a salad, it could add protein to a dinner. So there's so many little shortcuts that you can do. So that really is what I wanted to show you in this video, is kind of what I eat in a week and what you can eat in a week, and showing you how to start stocking your pantry and your fridge and your freezer so that you can just throw things together really, really quickly, and always not letting better be the enemy of best. I think that's the real message I wanted to drive home in this video, because anybody can pick this apart and go, what? You don't make your own salsa? You don't, do your own thing from scratch, and you don't make your own veggie broth from scratch? Well, yes, if I can. If I've got a little bit more time. There are times and periods in my life when I do have more time, but there are times when I do not. And I am committed to eating healthy, way better doing this than going out and getting it, from the drive-through. So I hope you found this useful. Tell me in the comments below, tell the community some of the ideas that you have for quick, throw together meals that do not require a recipe. I'd be very interested to hear. I'll see you next time. I believe there comes a time in every woman's life, particularly over the age of 45, where we just feel like we need a reset. Things change when we're in perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. Our bodies change, and that's why so many women that I work with say, Sophie, I've got this stubborn belly fat, it won't budge no matter what I do. They've tried every single diet known to man, every single supplement, and they're like, I'm still really struggling. And I believe the root of the struggle is not being addressed, and I believe that is why almost every woman over 45 could really use a reset, a clean slate, a kind of start again, if you like, with some really, really easy steps that you can take right away. And that is why I've created the 48-hour midlife reset that you can get started on immediately. You can have instant access to. And I take you through the 5 pillars of lifestyle medicine because as a board certified nutritionist, for me, this is all about treating the whole: mind, body, emotions, and spirit. And so if you're interested in a beautiful, powerful midlife reset, click on the button and let's give you instant access and get you started.